Sorry we got cut off at that last little piece of my presentation, so I just wanted to make sure that you got all the information on the last topic, which was Medicaid. And I know that I mentioned kind of when it was signed and a little bit of history on it. And I believe I had gotten through the facts and stats. And then we talked about how it is not funded by FICA taxes and that it is funded by the state government in conjunction with the federal government, depending on the wealth of the state. And then federal funds are matched at least at a rate of $1 to $1 for the state's payout of Medicaid benefits to its beneficiaries. So let's see. I got a little flustered there at the end, so I just want to make sure that I give you all of this information. So, talked about this again, and so are we in trouble? And I think this is kind of where we were when I got cut off. And I think the answer overall is yes, Medicaid is in trouble, and I think that this is kind of the hot topic currently in the political debate. And how are we going to cut federal spending, and how are we going to get the economy back on track? And everybody likes to kind of attack Medicaid as one of the big possibilities and areas that we can make large improvements on, save money. And so Medicaid is constantly in the news as kind of something that we need to do something about. So let's talk about, oops, let me go back. Sorry about that. So let's talk about the troubles with Medicaid. So one of the biggest problems is that since it is funded by individual states and then matched by federal dollars, it's very difficult for there to be any consistency across the board with benefits. And so some of the states recipients of benefits will receive much more than recipients of another state. If there is a state that the providers, the physicians or the hospitals or whomever does not take Medicaid insurance, then that person that is receiving the benefits is at a disadvantage, and they will not be able to go see their primary health care provider or specialist or whomever, whatever the case may be, if whatever physician or clinic or hospital or whatever will not take the Medicaid insurance, then those people with those benefits are not getting full access to complete medical care, which is a problem. So we talked about how it worked, and talked about some of the hassles. So what are the ways that this can be fixed? And once again, just like the other two that we talked about earlier, there has been numerous suggestions and options on what we can do. Do we cut benefits? Do we change eligibility requirements? How are we going to get kind of a handle on Medicaid spending, and what are we going to do? And so when the Affordable Care Act was signed, Medicaid actually picked up a lot of those uninsured persons. And so it has helped to decrease the amount of uninsured Americans. And the number, I'm looking for it now, the exact number, that number has decreased from 43 million down to 26 million. So the Medicaid program has taken in all of those new beneficiaries to get health care. So this is one of the fixes that is kind of already in progress, and this was under Obamacare when it was when it was instituted. And this is what they are calling now the Medicaid expansion. And this expansion offers for states to receive more monies and more federal backing for the more Medicaid dollars they spend out on their beneficiaries. So currently under this new Affordable Care Act guideline, we have expanded Medicaid to persons that are making 138% of the poverty line, which is $26,951,000 for a family of 3. And as of May of this year, there was 28 states that have elected to expand their Medicaid. And what that means is that, let me make sure I get this right, the government will pay nearly all of the expansion costs to cover these additional persons that are now insured under the Affordable Care Act. They will pick up 100% of the cost of the expansion for the newly eligible individuals for the first 3 years, and then no less than 90% of the cost on a permanent basis. So it's projected that states should not be having to spend more than just 1.6% more than the Medicaid dollars they already put into the funds. And so this is kind of the fix that is already in place. And so this is my last little cartoon, and all of the cartoons I use throughout the presentation, you wouldn't have to guess, but it was very easy to find a lot of caricatures and cartoons regarding this subject matter, and it is a very complex topic to discuss, and so a little bit of humor kind of always helps. So that's where all of the little comics come into play. Here are my references. And that is all I have. I hope you guys have a great week.